Welcome everybody to my first channel, and this is Snappy G channel, and this is gonna be my introduction video of season 5.1. So I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm George and I'm a photographer for gonna be 6 years already. So I'm gonna tell you what camera I'm using and what gear, and later I will tell you my purposes of doing this introduction and all this video. First of all, I think I just emphasize on my purpose. My purpose is to help people to understand camera more, So because many people have been struggling on what camera is good, what camera is supposed to be working fine, I know this is a technology of Instagram, people can just work around pressing on the phone, but we have to go back to the classic, which, stress ourselves a little bit so we can do a little bit difficult work, But I'm gonna tell you that this is my first camera. It's the Canon 81, and this is 1970 technology. There's nothing so auto about it. It's really tough, using it make me vomit blood because it's so difficult, and I don't want to talk about this thing anymore and this is the Nikon F60. This is a more easier machine, because it's a little bit digital. It comes with a display. It tells you what you're gonna shoot, and it's also a film camera. But there's a problem with film camera, that this kind of thing, you cannot display what you shoot. You have to really understand everything all by yourself, and all the setting. It's not really gonna make you feel easy. It's really tough. Most of the time I probably get poor result in the last time pass in the starting of the first few years. And the most important, when it comes to this digital technology, when it comes to the display, you can see what you're taking it, and it's very good, because although the megapixel is just 5.1, you really can work a lot with this. It's to help you to understand how camera work in digital way. You have to understand that the color that forms to this thing and all this thing is really a different story, because they do not do and produce the same result. And this film camera cannot have a post-processing process, unlike the digital version. You can really go to your computer and process everything, and it's really helpful for post-processing. It's really gonna enhance your image as you engineer it, as long as you're doing manual formulation, calculation in order to make your image look better. But that is really too abstract. I will really explain that later on in my sooner advanced video, which is going to be very long. And this is my current camera, which is the Canon 50D, and it's really a nice camera. I love this camera. This is why I'm working on this. I got plenty of lens I will show you later, but it's really it's not an amateur camera, because this thing is running on total manual. If you switch it to manual, it's really going to run manual. It's really going to stress you out if you don't know how to use it. But most important, I'm going to tell you why you have to run manual, because you have to have total full control of your camera. You have to decide what light is it, you have to decide what noise reduction you want, you have to decide what aperture you want, and that's really going to help you a lot in taking a good picture. You were about to see the difference about the phone camera and cameras initial camera. And this is my zoom lens. I can show you. It has a range of 55 to 250 millimeter. This thing can really zoom very far. It's crazy. This thing is like super long. But the problem with this is the aperture is not really big compared to focus lens and the focal lens. And this one is my 100 millimeter lens. It does not really zoom, because it's about focusing into an object, in the same range, from 0.31, 0.48 to infinity. But you have to know this kind of lens that really works really well when you're doing a close shot compared to the zoom lens. But you have to know what object you're taking, what aperture you need. And the second lens is another zoom lens, but it's not really important with that one. And this is the 50 millimeter focal lens, and there's a filter on it. I mostly have filter on my camera. These filters are very important. You have polarizer filter, you have CR filter, you have many Velva filter. But all these filters really do a lot of great job in your camera, because you have to know what affects, what filter does what. But this 50 millimeter lens, it's a focal lens, and it's really work really well when you're trying to do a portrait shot. And it's a very big aperture of 1.8 stop to f22 stop. It's really nice and beautiful. And another thing is your flash. External flash is very important if you're really trying to work on enough sufficient light in the surrounding. There's a difference between this flash. I'm about to show you this flash there's a lot of difference compared with this flash. This is a Speedlight 580F AX2. You know, this flash comes with a diffuser. It allows you to diffuse your amount of light you want, you know, so you won't cause over brightness of flash, and allows you to turn your angle so you know where to beam, you know. This is a direct beam, like commonly usually come off the camera itself, like you directly beam in front. And this thing, when you turn up the angle above, it allows you to beam above, and allows you to beam upstairs, a lot of angle you want. So it's really helpful if you want surrounding light. That is, if you're trying to get sufficient light, although it beam infrared to target your target. And this one is battery grip. There's a battery grip too. Obviously, add more power to your camera when you. I mean, if you're too busy, you don't want to charge your camera, you go back home, and don't want to do anything, then you have to use the battery grip. You just put a new battery inside. This baby fits 8 slot. I mean, that's crazy. 8 slots, really crazy. Is it? It's yeah, 6 slot. I'm sorry. This thing is really. I hardly use this because I mean, you have to either you get a high capacity battery power. You won't have to really run this, or buy more battery, because battery grip is really. It's really good, but there's a problem with it. When you're carrying battery grip, you tend to shake more of your camera because of the weight increase. Then you have to take that into account. And this one is a remote. What the remote do? I mean, what can you do with a remote is when you're taking any long shot, long exposure shot, you have to bear in mind that remote is very important to remove stagger and shakement, the movement, whatever you want it. Whether you don't want it, you know, it's very important. You know, you get a timer, you get a ticker timer, everything. It's really good. You should get it if you want to do a night shot or high speed shot. I mean, like it's a high range. You don't want to hold stuck in your camera too long. I mean, like this, you're gonna press. It's a bit difficult. I mean, you use a remote control better. I will explain how to use the remote later in later episode. But first, after episode, I'm gonna tell you how you use the shutter speed. And this is the most giant thing. This is my tripod. The tripod is very important to you because tripod, it determines the shake of your camera, you know, because our hand itself cannot be still like tripod. If your hand can be still like tripod, oh my gosh, you're so god. And then this tripod, it's very heavy, but you cannot compare. This thing is a lot of different story. Although you add weights to your camera, but this thing is to stabilize your camera so you will not shake a lot when you're taking a night or a long exposure shot. So that's all for my gear today, and that's on my channel. And nice to see you all. And please subscribe if you find my tutorial useful, because it's just an introduction channel. And I really appreciate you all if you really will support me and help me. And my purpose is to help you all as well. And I hope you find yourself useful. And I mean, you find yourself being very useful coming here, because I do not know if my tutorial is good or not, but I hope it's really gonna help you. That's all for today. Thank you, and please subscribe.